and this is the part that I feel like no one is really understanding out of me. There is a bare minimum amount of effort that has to go into a healthy relationship. If you want to maintain a healthy relationship with a romantic partner, there is a bare minimum amount of attention, time, energy, quality time, communication, consideration, bare minimum threshold. And that bare minimum threshold is too high for me. It is too high for me when I compare all of the time, energy, thought, like mental cognitive processing that goes into thinking about your partner, thinking about your romantic partner on a daily basis. All of that cognition juice and stuff, like for what you get out of it, which is like you get your best friend, you totally a best friend, a person you can be yourself with, a person you can tell anything to, a person you can be your complete and open and honest and vulnerable self with. And then you can also sleep with that person, right? That's what I personally see marriage as. It's like you get an assigned best friend that you get to sleep with and do life together with, which is like, it's a beautiful and it's a lovely concept. But for me, when I think about how every day for the rest of my life, I have to think about you. I'm sorry. I know it's going to sound messed up, but I have to think about you. I have to think about your feelings, the amount of like that you have to think about them every single day for the rest of your life. When you are in a romantic relationship specifically, y'all, there is so much work. Like, and it's like, I'm saying this and people are acting like I am crazy, but divorce rates are 50%. That means at least, at least half of marriages, people are not meeting the threshold of happiness of energy output. Like someone in the marriage is feeling neglected if a divorce is, or unhappy if a divorce is being filed. And I know that I know that I am a very, very rare exception of having someone who I was satisfied with, but not wanting to just the concept of marriage altogether just doesn't work for me. But most people who file for divorce are people who were deeply unhappy in their marriage. And that deep unhappiness comes from them not having their minimum threshold met of happiness. And that minimum threshold is high. Everyone says marriage is work. There's an entire industry called marriage counseling, marriage therapists, couples therapy, intimacy therapy. Like there's entire industries around keeping marriages together because of the simple fact that being married is hard. It is a difficult thing. It takes a shit ton of energy, more energy than I personally feel like anyone should expend on maintaining one specific relationship. But even that's my personal opinion. Is like I feel like the amount of effort that goes into maintaining this one relationship is extreme, and it is like, and again, for what you get out of it is a best friend you can have sex with. And I have a best friend. I love her. I don't sleep with her, but I don't need that. I have the deep, intimate relationships with people who I can be myself with, who I can talk to without worrying about if I'm gonna hurt their feelings or not, because they know that I have good intentions with whatever I say, and so we don't have to have that like energy spent on trying to figure out their intentions, or like when you're talking to someone who is not your romantic partner, it is so easy. And not to say talking to my romantic partner wasn't easy. He was my best friend, but there is still an extra level of concerted effort that you have to put in to conversations with your loved one in order to, like, especially like not everyday conversations, but like some hard conversations, or like even, I would say even some everyday conversations. Like if I wanted him to cook, I can't say, can you cook more? Can you cook more often? I can't say that, but you have to dress it up. You got to put, Caesar dressing on it. You gotta toss it and garnish it to make it a nice, beautiful presentation of a meal as to why I would like you to wash the dishes more. And so that they don't get hurt and feel like, oh, you don't think I do anything in the house. You don't think so. I'm not enough now. And it's just like, no one said that. I just asked for a little extra help in the kitchen. This is like, but like with a non-romantic partner who you still give your full authentic self to, you just don't have to do all of that. And that's just like, and so for me, it's like that. So for me, it's just not worth it. Like it is like, that is it. That's it of that is, was it me pushing my expectations onto him? That's like 15% of it. The other 85% is marriage takes an extremely large threshold of mental time, energy, tension, consideration in order to keep that marriage healthy and happy. And I do not feel like the amount of like human energy, human money currency that has to be paid in order to keep up a marriage is worth it. The ROI is not worth it. The value that you get out of having a romantic partner is not worth the amount of effort that you as an individual have to exert in order to keep that romantic relationship healthy and happy. Because obviously you can have the relationship and then not put in the energy and the effort and the whole thing, and then you got two people who are in a marriage who hate each other, or who are single but married, but like that is not a healthy marriage. So I'm saying, if you want, like, you can plenty of people stay in the marriage and don't meet that threshold and ends up in divorce or unhappy marriages. But like, I'm sitting here saying I see the amount of energy. I don't want to put in that much energy because I don't get, like, what you get out of it is not it's not worth it. And not only is it not worth it, what you get out of it, but also and here's where my biggest, and here's my biggest issue is the opportunity costs. The opportunity cost of marriage are that, though, like, what you have to pay for what you get is like, is the ROI great? No, but it's not negative. But when you add in opportunity costs, your ROI you're now bankrupt. You're bankrupt. You owe the bank. I'm just like, oh, because the problem that I had when I was in my marriage was like, there was just so many times where I would be doing marriage, and I would just, in the back of my mind, I would just be like, I could be doing something else. I could be doing something else. I could be working on my book. I could be working on my YouTube. I could be working on my TikTok. I could be working on, you know, my nonprofits. I work with nonprofits. I have so much stuff that I'm doing that brings me so much joy, brings me so much happiness, brings me so much fulfillment, brings me so much satisfaction, brings me so much pride. Like, just so much stuff in my life that I have, that I do, that I enjoy, that brings me so much, like, light and goodness, and like just fulfillment, and having to decrease the amount of time, energy, and attention that I give to those things, like my actual creations, my babies, literally my book, this platform, my babies. I've birthed these from the womb that is my mind. The mind is a womb. People don't think of it as that, but your mind is a dark space where spirit energy lives, comes, goes into and out of, and creates living entities, like a business, like a book, like a TV show, like a movie, like a relationship. Even is a baby, it's a living, breathing entity of itself. It grows, it changes, it can die. Like, people see, that's what I'm saying. If you're here, you have to be able to think outside of boxes, outside of the way that society teaches you to think. Because when you see everything for what it actually is, you will understand how to move throughout your life better. And so my creations, which are my babies, my literal children, I was neglecting them. I'm neglecting my children in order to have this romantic relationship. People don't think of their passions as children. They just think of them as hobbies or side gigs or something. But I've been working on my book for 4 years now. Like, I am like, that is not something that I can just start neglecting because I have a romantic partner. That, for me, I have a 4-year-old book child, and I still need to care for it and nurture it and pour into it, or else it will die. My book will die. That dream of being an author will die if I don't feed that. And for me, again, I just, like, that book, for me, even if I sell 0 copies, just finishing it is worth $1 billion. It will be worth so much to me when I finish writing that book. If it doesn't sell anything, that's fine. Like, that's fine. That's how much I care about the child that is my book. It reminds me of this, like, it's like this old fable or old wise tale. It's like there were 2 boys, and they were fighting over a toy, and they were both saying the toy is theirs, and so they should have it. And the adult in the room didn't know whose it was. And so the adult said, hey, okay, well, I'll split the toy in half, and each of you can get a half of the toy. And then one of the boys started crying and said, no, please don't break the toy. Just give it to him. Let him have it. And the other boy was like, yeah, it's mine anyway. Just give it to me. Let me have it. Or no, the other boy was just like, yeah, that sounds fine. You can break it in half. And that is just like, that is when you love something so much, you will, instead of breaking it in half, you will let it go in order to keep it whole. And that is how I feel about my husband. It's like, my husband and myself and my stuff, it's like, I love them all, and I know I cannot give them all of me the way I want to. And so instead of giving myself half-assing and giving my half-half of myself, be half in and half out my marriage, and be like, yeah, I'm married to this guy, but like I don't give a fuck about him. I just want to do all the stuff I want to do, or do all the stuff I want to, and so my husband will be neglected, or I can do what I was doing and not neglect my husband and say, oh, I'll neglect all this other stuff that I'm doing because I can't pour into it the way I used to, because I now have this entire other being, this entity taking up all of my time, my energy, my attention, my spirit energy, my creation energy, all of the energy that I have that was going into all of my things. It was now going into my relationship, which is like, again, that's fine for most people. But I personally feel like most people don't care about their passions the way I care about my passions. I don't feel like people I'm sure there are 100,000 wives right now who will be like, oh, I wrote a book while I was married. I wrote a book while I, raised 3 kids. I, headed whatever, not I headed a business or had a company. It's just like, that is good for you. All I can say is like, that is good for you. I'm not saying that I cannot do it. I know I can do it. If I wanted to write my book and be married and be a mother, I could do it. But at what cost? There will be a cost, and the cost would be my mental health. Like, it will be my mental health, or it'll be my physical health, or it'll be my spiritual health. Like, something, humans only have a finite capacity per day. Someone did another comment, and it was a good comment. And she said that, so basically you had 3 spoons a day and you wanted to give 5 spoons. And so you felt guilty for not being able to give 5 spoons. And so you reached into your reservoir and you pulled out 5 spoons from tomorrow, basically, and gave it to them. And then you were drained and exhausted and depressed and sad. And I'm just like, that's kind of right. But I feel like a better example is that I have 5 spoons every day, not 3, and I need 2 more because I want to give them away. But it's like, I have 5 spoons, and I know I have 5 spoons every day. But I felt like marriage was taking up at least 3 spoons a day. It's just like, I do feel like marriage takes up 3 of your spoons a day. Or if you guys, like, or if you're talking about like a weekend, spoons a day on marriage, and then you get 2 spoons to yourself. Really 1 spoon, because then you got weekends are also for like, errands and grocery shopping and doing stuff that you couldn't do during the week. And then, maybe during the week, if I was working, 2 spoons would be into thinking about marriage. And it's like, again, when I say marriage, like, I don't mean like thinking about marriage, but it's just like, when you have a romantic partner, you think about them, like, period, full stop. You think about them. You think about them. If you love your partner, you think about them. Like, you're going throughout your day, and then boop, your husband just pops into your head, or your wife just pops into your head. And it's just like, oh, I wonder what they're doing. I wonder if, what we're going to eat for dinner tonight. Oh, did I do this for dinner? Oh, I got to make sure I'm doing some stuff, to make sure that I'm prepared for later tonight. It's like, oh, is it my turn to wash the bed sheets? Like, it's just like, when you have a partner, there is a part of your brain capacity that is dedicated to thoughts about your partner, their needs, your needs, and how they will impact your partner, what you're going to do that day, and how your partner is going to fit into that. Like people don't pay attention to their thoughts, and that's the problem. That's like, people don't think about, like, they lack self-awareness. That's the number one problem. But because people don't think about their thoughts, they don't have self-awareness, but they don't think about, like, okay, so because I have ADHD, and I think this is probably why I am like this, I've always been very aware or cognizant of how much executive functioning I have for the day. I know if I work out in the morning, I take my meds, and if I went to sleep on time, like, I'm going to be full of energy all day. I know if I wake up, I don't work out, I don't take my meds, I'm going to be off. All right. If I wake up and I work out and I don't take my meds, I'm going to be medium. If I take my meds and I don't work out, I'll be like, probably like a little higher than medium, but like, it won't be, tip top. So I've always been very aware of, like, how much am I thinking about this thing? Because I know that when I spend a lot of time thinking about a thing, I lose energy to doing other things. Like, people with ADHD, their biggest problem is they use so much cognitive effort when it comes to time to, like, do the thing, to execute the actual executive functioning. We can't do it because we're all burnt out, because we've been thinking about it all day. We've been thinking about it, doing it, everything around it, when we should do it. Should we do this first? Should we do that first? Like, ADHDers, all, like, we have so much going on in this brain at any given second. I like, it is, whenever something has my attention, I am hyper aware of it, because I know my attention is so valuable. All of our attention is so valuable. But as an ADHDer who has struggled with, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, like the actual name, like it's like, it's not, again, it's more of it's an attention dysregulation problem. But because of that, because it's hard for me to I don't want to say it's hard for me to regulate. It is hard for me to regulate my attention. Because it's hard for me to regulate my attention when something is taking my attention. I'm always hyper aware of it because I know it will have an impact on my overall day, my overall progress in life, my overall like just way of being. If something is taking my attention, if I'm not aware of it, my life will spiral out of control. And so I am aware of literally what percentage of my brain is being used for thinking about this, for thinking about that, for thinking about XYZ. Like, people will just go throughout their day, and then at the end of their day, just like, "Oh my God, I'm so exhausted." And they like won't think about why they're exhausted. They won't think about what day weren't they exhausted, and now what day that they are exhausted, and what is the difference between those days. Like, people don't think about how they feel. I think about how I feel every day. Every day. And everyone should. Like, you should be hyper aware of how you feel. Me and my nervous system we are locked in. We are locked in. If something is making me anxious, depressed, sad, angry, like if I have an emotion, I am sitting with it. I am addressing it right then and there. I'm figuring out where it came from. I'm figuring out why it's there. I'm figuring out who put it there. Did I put it there? Is this a childhood trauma? Is this a now trauma? Am I being triggered from something that happened before? Or am I upset at something that's happening right now? Should I be upset at this thing? Why do I feel upset if I feel like I shouldn't be upset? Like y'all, I think about all of these things every time I have basically any emotion at all. Basically any emotion at all. And so because my emotions, because I don't know how to explain it, but like, I don't know why I should feel like I have to explain why you should care about your own emotions. Just know that they're very important, and you should be very connected and attached to your emotions and the things that trigger them. And yeah, so where was I going with this? Yes. So people will go throughout their day and then they'll come home and they're exhausted some days, and some days they come home and they're not exhausted, and they won't look at why that is. But I always look at why that is, because if I don't, like I said, my life will spiral out of control, and I will, if I don't pay attention to how I'm regulating my attention will be dysregulated, and then bad things will happen to me. And so that is why I had such an awareness of how much I am thinking about my partner. Yeah. So I think people need to be more aware of how they are spending their energy all day. That'll help them figure out what actually is making them happy and what's making them sad. Because yeah, I was able to quickly realize what was going on with me because I pay attention to my emotions. I pay attention. Yeah, that's why I feel like most people, they will probably come to the same conclusion if they actually paid attention to how they feel and actually respected their own feelings instead of suppressing them or pushing them down or invalidating their own selves, which is like, that's crazy. If you don't believe you about your own feelings, who's going to believe you? Like, who experiences your feelings other than you? Who is in your body other than you? Who has to experience your life other than you? Nobody. No one has to be Bri but Bri. Not one person in this world has to walk this earth and Bri's body but Bri. So if something is making me unhappy, if something is making me depressed, if something is making me anxious, if something is making me uncomfortable, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. You can't make me stay. You cannot make me be uncomfortable in my own body. You cannot make me be unhappy in my own body. You cannot make me be depressed in my own body. I will not, literally will not stand for it. And I feel like more people should get up and leave when they feel unhappy, because it's like, life is meant to be enjoyed. Like, there's so much suffering in this world, and it is because of this disgustingly pervasive mentality that we have to suffer, that we have to endure. And it's like, no, we have free will, right? All my Christians, there are so many Christians in my comments, the Christians, they hate me. And I'll talk to y'all in a little bit. Yeah, if the God that you believe in tells you have free will, but why is it that whenever someone exercises their free will in a way that you don't agree with, then I'm a terrible person and should be damned to hell? Not to say that your hell matters anything to me, but it's like, oh God, the way Christians try to impose their belief systems on other people is, oh my gosh. Anyways, so that is that. It was not me projecting my insecurities onto him. For the most part, it was the fact that there is a bare minimum amount of time, energy, attention that goes into marriage. And I feel like it is too high for the fact that you get a best friend that you can sleep with. I have a best friend and I don't care about sex that much to give away half of my life for it, or half of my brain and cognitive thinking for it.